Hello, my sweet friends. I wanted to speak from my heart in this gorgeous moment of now about the beautiful art of surrender. This is not an easy thing, especially if we have associated ourselves with or have not yet decoupled who we are from our ego. To see that we are not our ego, we are not our thoughts, we are not our body. We are instead the gorgeous observer that is seeing all of the magic. And I am currently on my life journey going through quite a, I guess for lack of better words, a course correction. There are a lot of changes that are happening, but also I am welcoming these changes. And as I'm being told, they are happening because I chose a much different path. I was very wrapped up in my corporate career, and I was looking to, for lack of better words, prove who I was, what I could do, and to use my power to move mountains, to make lots of money, and to have lots of security in my corporate job. And through my recent journey, have learned that that is not where my path is supposed to lead. And instead, through the art of surrender, if you will, learning what is the art of surrender, to help identify where I am actually going. And funny enough, even through asking that question, learning that that is my ego trying to understand, trying to anticipate, trying to see the next step and the step after that and the step after that. Because fortunately, unfortunately, that is what I learned in my corporate career. That is what I learned culturally. Being responsible, being diligent, being intelligent is part of anticipating what is next, being already there, having multiple solutions or options, and then guiding it to where I want it to go. And my guides were specifically sharing, and they have reiterated this many, many times, that I am on a path that is very steep. Like, imagine very, very steep. Almost to the point where I'm just going straight up, but there is a little trajectory of angle. So I am on a rocket ship to essentially course correct where I had paddled myself to be back to where my heart center and my higher self desires me to be. And what I often hear from my guides, which I believe all of us hear, we may deny these things or not pay attention to them. But we are so very loved. We are so very cared for. We are supported. And our guides, so all of those beautiful beings on the other side of the veil that assist us and help us execute the plan that we had architected, we had designed before we even came into this gorgeous earth. We have a plan of our existence. What are we doing here? Our plan says exactly what that is. And I think that what I have learned from this experience and understanding this, and understanding that this is part of the path forward that we intended to walk, or we intended to float if we're on this super conscious river of adventure. And what it often comes down to is the dichotomy, the choice, the extremes of fear and surrender, fear and love. Because where there is fear, there is not love. And our natural human tendency, silly ego, who tries their absolute best, but is for specific situations of execution, not for situations of planning or guiding or north starring. Like, our ego is not built or made for that. It is for, in the moment of now, how to navigate. Okay, I'm wanting to go this way, or I need to go this way, or I need to get this thing accomplished. How do I do that? That is where the ego excels. But what I find so curious, and I've noticed in myself, that this human tendency to react with fear often comes from not seeing, not understanding, or not being able to grasp the path ahead of us. My guides have shared this, and I'll read it to you. Often humans get afraid, discouraged, unsure about what may come up if they follow the path of the guided path. And think about that. When I sat there, I was like, what? So following the path of the guided path, which means there is an intention in that pathway forward. It is not just to a random destination. And we are not being, for lack of better words, held hostage. And now we have to get to this final destination and we don't know how to get there. That is not the case. We instead are resisting, we are fearing to follow the path of the guided path. So this means that our surrender, which often when I say surrender, many are like, well, I'm not going to just give up. I'm not going to just throw in the towel. I'm not going to just, we'll see what happens. You are correct that surrender is not a passive act. It is not a willy-nilly, I'm just going to, whatever. Instead, it is a conscious, powerful choice. And the thing that they were sharing that was just, it was reflecting through my soul was that they were sharing that not only having the willingness to listen, because I think that taking a moment to listen, our ego is the one who wants to take action, who wants to go and do and fix and take things across the finish line and get recognized for the behavior or the action or the thing. That's our ego. But our soul, who we actually really deeply are, is about listening and connecting and flowing with the all. And it's almost a willingness to travel this path and to see what's on the other side. For those of us who might be more adventurous by nature, I would put myself in that category. Maybe not extreme adventure, if you will, but adventuring is part of what makes life exciting. And seeing it from a, kind of almost like a childlike perspective of fun and adventure and a game and playing, what is on the other side? And if we embrace that energy, that feeling, there could be incredible magic over there. Now, if we hold a belief in our heart that it is not magic and it's punishment and it's scary and I don't know, and every time something happens that I don't know what's going to happen, I get insert thing here. Well, we are holding a belief that then is becoming true over and over and over. What if we took that belief and we set it free and said, okay, thank you for your service. Goodbye. Love you. Release you with love. And come back to the fact, come back to the epicenter, that the joyous, the potential, the adventure is aligning us with the magic of the universe. What would happen to our life journey then? Where would we go? Where would it take us? And as my guides continue to say, relentlessly surrender to the path, to the forward motion, to the pull of your soul. My goodness, that is so powerful. So think about, we might be fearful of what our own soul can see and feel and understand. And because our ego cannot get our minds wrapped around what it is, we instead resist it. I'd like to invite you to take a moment to sit down in contemplation and realize that when we surrender, we are not surrendering to chaos, but instead we are surrendering to a beautiful path that is being illuminated moment by moment, and trusting that flow of that moment by moment discovery. I will say, earlier in my life experience, when anxiety ran rampant in my daily experience, I never could have thought about slowing down to the point where I could allow things to unfold moment by moment. And this is what helped me see how in control my ego was. And instead, in the surrender, in the allowing, I then could start to trust the flow, start to release the reins, and start to bask in the stars. It's kind of like when you're in a car driving versus you're in the, let's say, in the passenger seat or in the back seat. When you're driving, you're paying attention to everything that's happening. And you might not get to see things in the sky, or you get to see things on the roadway, or you might not get to see the beautiful scenery that you're passing through. I don't know about you, but that was the thing that actually helped me switch my focus, switch the focus of my consciousness from instead focusing on, I want to drive and I want to know where I'm going because I have to know, I would love to be a passenger, still be guided to the place that my soul wants me to be in, to go, achieve, whatever it is, final destination. But I want to enjoy every moment of getting there. I'm tired. I am exhausted. I do not choose to feel exhausted anymore. I do not choose to feel bogged down and heavy. I want to be light. Something else to think and ponder on that my guides shared. Surrender into the flow of where life is taking you that's already pre-programmed to joy, pre-programmed to expansion. It is already influenced. It is already thought through from your heart, from the epicenter of who you are. It carries with it a charge that allows for the trail to continue to illuminate in every gorgeous moment. That is what I seek, and that is what I invite you to seek along with me. This act of surrender is something to be embraced, and it is something to be celebrated. It is not easy because of the, as I affectionately say, the training that we've received on this gorgeous planet on how to supposedly navigate it. We've learned kind of backwards, but that's okay. We have learned the polarity that exists here. But this surrender is actually a monumental act of courage. It is not weakness. It is surrendering and allowing and letting go to the magic, to the interconnectedness of it all. And as my guides frequently remind me, this is what they wish for every single being. It is precious. It's monumental. It is something to be celebrated. That is what we only wish for everyone, all beings, all beings. That is what they shared with me, and I wanted to share that with you. I am hopeful that this message brings you hope, love, and light in this gorgeous moment of now. Because this is the truth. You are loved, you are supported, you are not alone. When you surrender, you are surrendering to yourself, to your higher self, who has already plotted a gorgeous pathway, riverway, with all these little stops and destinations. It's like being on an all expenses paid, all planned out to your beautiful liking. There's some things on there that will help you stretch and ebb and flow and grow and expand. It will allow you to play and have experience. And in the end, you enjoyed every single moment because you weren't trying to drive. I hope this message stays in your beautiful heart and resonates because it has been a blessing to share it with you here in this gorgeous moment of now.